Welcome to Read, Think, Talk with Dr.JoMarc. Yes, Read, Think, Talk with Dr.JoMarc. Say it with me now. Read, Think, Talk with Dr.JoMarc, where you can read books so you can get smart. Yeah, you can get smart. Yeah, you can get smart. Make connections with the world and learn about yourself and notion of ideas. So don't be scared to swim. We've got a life vest. Let's jump right in. I'll be asking questions to put you to the test. I've got an answer key to navigate the seas. Let's dive into our book, Your Goggles You Should Get for the Best Trip Yet. Now let's get ready to read. Islandborn, written by Junot Diaz, illustrated by Leo Espinosa. Every kid in Lola's school was from somewhere else. Hers was a school of faraway places. So, when Lola's teacher asked the students to draw a picture of where their families emigrated from, all the kids are excited, except Lola. She can't remember the island. She left when she was just a baby. But with the help of her family and friends and their memories, joyous, fantastical, heartbreaking, and frightening, Lola's imagination takes her on an extraordinary journey back to the island. As she draws closer to the heart of her family's story, Lola comes to understand the truth of her abuela's words. Just because you don't remember a place doesn't mean it's not in you. Lyrically written by New York Times bestseller and Pulitzer Prize winner Junot Diaz, and gloriously illustrated by Leo Espinosa, this picture book is a celebration of creativity, diversity, and our imagination's ability to connect us to our families, to our past, and to ourselves. We just finished reading the book jacket, which introduces our main character, Lola. What's her name? That's right, Lola. Now it's time to get your brain warmed up by making a prediction. Think of this as a stretch before a big race. A prediction is an educated guess using clues and background knowledge. Now let's predict. What island do you think Lola may be from? Here's some background knowledge to help you with that question. An island is a body of land surrounded by water. Some examples are Hawaii and Manhattan. Now, think. What island do you think Lola may be from? Pause the video and take a guess. So, what did you guess? Here's my prediction. I predict that Lola may be from the island of Hispaniola, which is shared by the countries of Dominican Republic and Haiti. I use my background knowledge about the author and my knowledge of islands to take a guess. Don't worry if you didn't get the same answer. You can use our deep dive checklist to make sure you got all the parts. Complete sentence and named an island. As long as you got those two things, you got it right. Before we start, let's stop to chat. As we read, we'll stop to ask and answer questions. I've got 3 types for you, and you can think of them as getting a little harder as we go. First, we have check-in questions. These are the easy ones. The answers are right in the book. It's like finding a hidden object. We'll ask about who, what, when, and where to make sure we're on the same page. What kinds of questions? That's right, check-in questions. Next are dig deeper questions. These are a little medium and require you to think and search for the answers. The book won't say the answers directly, so you'll have to put clues together and make your best guess. What kinds of questions? That's right, dig deeper questions. And last, we have think like a writer questions. These are the hardest ones. We'll step back from the story and think about why the author wrote it the way they did. We'll ask questions like, why do you think the author chose that word? Or how did the author make us feel so sad for that character? Think like a what? That's right, think like a writer. As a reminder, if you get a little lost, that's okay. There's an answer key at the end of the video. So do your best thinking. Let's dive in. hold up, wait. One last thing. Now that your brain is all warmed up, go ahead and put on your diving goggles for the story. As you read, use your goggles to help you keep track of the rainbow of feelings Lola has as she completes the project. Let's dive in for real. Islandborn by Junot Diaz, illustrated by Leo Espinosa. Every kid in Lola's school was from somewhere else. Hers was a school of faraway places. My was from a city so big that it was like its own country. India and Camila were from a stony village at the tippy top of the world. Mateo had lived in a desert so hot, even the cactus fainted. Nu was born in a jungle famous for its tigers and its poets. And Lola was from the island. So when her teacher, Miss Obi, told the class, please draw a picture of the country you are originally from, your first country, and bring it in tomorrow, everyone got super excited. I'm going to put in pyramids, said Dahlia. And I'll draw a canal this long, Franklin said. There's going to be a mongoose in mine, Nelson yelled. Nelson always yelled. Everyone was talking about their drawings. Everyone but Lola. Lola, you see, loved to draw. But she had left the island when she was just a baby, so she didn't remember any of it. Lola raised her hand. She hated raising her hand almost as much as she hated Nelson's yelling. Miss, what if you don't remember where you are from? What if you left before you could start remembering? No problema, Miss Obi said. Are there people around you who do remember? Like my whole neighborhood, Lola said, and they're always talking about the island. Well, then, Miss Obi started. Maybe, but Lola finished her sentence. I should talk to everyone who does remember. I should draw from their memories. That's a very good plan, Lola, Miss Obi said with a smile. Lola started feeling better about the assignment, but then she saw all the other kids chatting excitedly about what they were going to draw, and it made her sad. Everybody was remembering their first home. Even Nelson, who forgot everything. Nelson even forgot his last name once, for like an hour. Lola had always wanted to remember the island, but no matter how hard she tried, she never could. It was like a familiar word just at the tip of your tongue. But instead of a word, this was an entire world. Lola closed her eyes and tried to recall anything about the island, but nothing came up. She kept trying all through the school day. To help her focus, she put her fingers on the sides of her head, like her abuela's psychic sometimes did. Are you okay? Her cousin Leticia asked as they walked home from school together. I have to draw a picture of the island, Lola explained. But I was just a baby when we left. Prima, you have to help me. I don't remember a lot either, except for the bats. They were as big as blankets, and they used to chase after me at night. Blanket bats? Lola pulled out her notebook and began to sketch. Leticia stopped Mrs. Bernard, who always sold them crispy empanadas after school. Mrs. Bernard, what do you remember most about the island? Why, the music, of course. The whole country is like the inside of a guira, like the inside of a drum. You mean like our neighborhood? Lola said. The neighborhood had so much music, it was like a radio with the dial broken off. On the island, there's even more music. There's more music than air, and everyone is always dancing. Even in their sleep, people dance. Sleep dancing? Lola sketched. Leticia led Lola into the barber shop that her brother Jonathan owned. Lola has to do an assignment about the island. She needs to know what you remember most about it. Wepa, said Jonathan, laughing. The agua de coco. How wonderful it tastes when you drink it right from the coconut, Mr. Rodriguez sat up in the chair. And the mangoes that are the size of your head and so sweet. They make you want to cry, Lola said. She loved mangoes. That's it exactly. How much color there is, said the woman waiting with her son. Colorful cars, colorful houses, flowers everywhere. Even the people are like a rainbow, every shade ever made. Like us in here, Lola said. Even more color, the woman said. Agua, mango heads, rainbow people. Lola was trying to keep up. The island sounds so beautiful. Why did we even leave? Well, it isn't all beautiful, the woman's son said. The heat is on you like 5 bullies, the oldest barber muttered. And other things. Like what? Lola wanted to ask, but the oldest barber had already turned away. Drop the buoy! Alright, let's pause right there. We've read a lot, so before we go any further, let's drop our buoy to mark our place in the story. Now that our spot is marked, let's dive into our questions. Our first question is a check-in question. What event in the story kicks off Lola's problem? Remember, the answer will be right in the text. Here's a deep dive checklist to make sure you have all the parts. You need to identify the kickoff event, cite text evidence, and explain your text evidence. Pause the video to share your answer. Make a connection. Have you ever been stressed out by a project or assignment? Think, pause the video, and share. Let's dig a little deeper. Here's our dig deeper question. How do Lola's feelings about her class project evolve or change in the beginning of the story? Cite at least 3 feelings and corresponding evidence from the text. Here's our deep dive checklist. You must identify at least 3 different feelings and cite 3 different pieces of text evidence. So, how do Lola's feelings about her class project evolve or change in the beginning of the story? Pause the video to capture your answer. Ready to have a light bulb moment? Here's our think like a writer question. How does the author hook readers at the beginning of the story? Cite evidence to support your response. Here's our deep dive checklist. Be sure to restate the question, identify one author's craft move, cite evidence, and explain your text evidence. Again, we're thinking about how does the author hook readers at the beginning of the story. It's important to note that although this is the toughest question, there are so many different answers you can arrive at. Take a shot. Okay, it's time to check our answers. I want to emphasize something important. There isn't just one right answer for all of these. The dig deeper and think like a writer questions are designed to make you think critically and creatively. The answers I'm about to share are one way you could have approached the question. If you came up with something different, ask yourself, can I support the answer with a reason and evidence from the book? If the answer is yes, then you've successfully completed the thinking job. Now, let's jump in. The first check-in question was, what event in the story kicks off Lola's problem? Here's the anticipated response. The event that kicks off the problem in the story is Miss Obi's classroom project, which requires Lola to remember her life on the island. According to the text, Lola does not remember what her life was like on the island, which makes her sad. Lola worries that without this knowledge, she will be unable to complete her project. Give me a thumbs up if you got that same answer. Give yourself 2 thumbs up. Now, let's move on to our next question. Here's our dig deeper question. How do Lola's feelings about her class project evolve or change in the beginning of the story? Cite at least 3 feelings and corresponding evidence from the text. Here's our anticipated response. Remember, you only need 3 feelings. Lola's feelings about the project evolve significantly, or a lot, in the beginning of the story. At first, Lola is confused. She asks Mrs. Obi questions about the project because she can't remember anything about the island. Then, when she thinks of the idea to ask everyone in her neighborhood, she becomes excited. Then Lola gets sad to hear her classmates talking excitedly about a project she doesn't know how to start. She then tries to focus on remembering something from the island to no avail. When her cousin Leticia picks her up, she notes Lola's worry at asking Lola, "Are you okay?" This shows the many feelings Lola has about the project. So, what do you think? Did you get at least 3 of those feelings and evidence from the text? Give yourself a hip hip hooray. Ready? Hip hip hooray. Alrighty, let's review our Think Like a Writer question. How does the author hook readers at the beginning of the story? Cite evidence to support your response. Here's a sample response. The author hooks readers at the beginning of the story by using the visual arrangement of the text to reflect Lola's emotional state. Instead of placing the words in a standard paragraph, the author moves them around the page. On page 2, a single line of text is isolated from the rest of the paragraph, visually mirroring Lola's future feelings of being alone or worried about the project. On page 3, the author separates the paragraph that shows Lola's feelings to indicate how she feels different from the rest of the class. This use of text as a visual tool draws the readers in to see how Lola's mood will shift and evolve as the story continues. Here's some other potential answers. We just talked about the visual arrangement of text to mirror the mood. The author also uses foreshadowing or hints about what will happen next on pages 3 and 13. There's some humor on pages 4 and 5. A quick introduction of the central conflict on pages 3 and 4. Some of the characters' thoughts on pages 3, 4, and 6. And then there's a use of dialogue on 3, 4, and 7. So, how did you measure up? I'm sure you came up with something great. Let's celebrate with a cheer. Ready? I'll say, bright like a light bulb. You say, bright, bright, bright. Ready? Bright like a light bulb. Bright like a light bulb. Awesome job. Check out what happens next in part 2. If you liked our video, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Read, Think, Talk.